All right, in this video we're going to talk about the Cancer Capricorn axis and what it indicates. We're also going to look at the ascendant, each in Cancer and Capricorn, and talk about what that means. We're also going to look at Rahu and Ketu being placed in Cancer and Capricorn. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for watching. I ask if you like this material, please subscribe to my channel. If you have more questions about Cancer and Capricorn in regards to your own personal birth chart, what it means to you, you can always go to my website, Dance of the Cosmos, and request a reading. Now, also, so let's just get right into the heart of the matter here. What is Cancer and what is Capricorn? So now, the first thing we need to talk about with this axis here, and if you have questions about the importance of axes, I recommend you check out my video here about the why opposite signs are important. But we're going to dive into why these two opposite signs forming this axis that you see right here, forming this axis, and what this indicates, what part of our life this is. So what we'll see right here is these two signs, both Cancer and Capricorn, are both feminine and movable. These are the two traits that they share. So feminine means about it's about us being okay with the way that it is. It's an internal nature of how things affect us, and kind of about forming our viewpoints of the world, because we can't form a viewpoint of the world unless we're receptive to what is in our world. And so, and then it's that ability to change and to move based upon what that perception is. It's dealing with changing perceptions, basically. And so we see that with Cancer, and we see that both with Capricorn. They're both going to represent that, but they're both very different in how they deal with it and what specific area of life this talks about. So we have Cancer here first. We'll talk about Cancer. So Cancer, in being a feminine movable sign, it's a water sign. It is that water element, which the water element is always related to our emotional nature. And it is also sattvic. It's the image of a crab. And so real quick, what all this is saying is that it's that ability for us to deal with this changing environment and to be able to change our reception and our beliefs in everything. And it's about, because it's like the image of a crab. A crab can change, it can, like a hermit crab specifically, can even change its shell. It can live on land, it can live on water, it can go wherever it needs to go. There's no problem for that crab. Now when we talk about water, we're talking about our emotional nature. And see, this is the movable, receptive aspect of our emotional nature. So the way that I liken all the water signs, I imagine Cancer to be like the river of emotion, which is like the surface emotions that we experience, and being able to navigate that part of our life. That constantly changeable perception of, my gosh, my boss just fired me and now I'm so angry with him, or my boss yelled at me, I'm angry with him. But that's very changeable. And in 10 minutes you're gonna get a phone call from your girlfriend and she says how much she loves you, and all of a sudden you're feeling loved and happy. And that's what Cancer is that ability to change it's our changeable emotional nature that's constantly going, almost like our mood swings, kind of, but it's on a very changeable nature. And so it's that, but it's also sattvic, which that means that Cancer is also about like doing things for the best possible reason and bringing balance to our emotional nature. And then you'll see here it says many legs, which means that it's about able to shift all the time. And the reason why Cancer is about being able to shift every time, and the reason why I talk about a hermit crab, is Cancer also represents distant places. Cancer is about us becoming secure in ourself and being constantly secure in ourselves, no matter what our environment is, no matter how it changes. That's why Cancer represents distant places, because if we're secure in our own emotional nature and our ability to process and deal with the stream of consciousness in our emotional body, Well, we can go anywhere with that and be secure. We don't have to just stay at home and be secure. We can be secure in France. We can be secure in Australia. We can be secure in Canada. We can be secure in Peru. Doesn't matter, because if we're secure in the nature of who we are and our ability to deal with things, then that means that we will be able to, that we'll be just fine. And that's what Cancer is. Now, Capricorn is the opposite, because Capricorn is an earth sign. So it's about being, dealing with the things that change in this world, like our changing physical environments, not our internal environments, like with the water sign of Cancer, but the earth sign of Capricorn is dealing with our changeable physical environment. And then you will see here that Capricorn is also tamasic, and it's the image of a crocodile, and it represents like marshes. So it's basically what Capricorn is dealing with, is it's dealing with the physical environment, but it's also dealing with the difficult things and the scary things and the ferocious things. And it's about dealing with our fears of our real solid things on earth, or the things that can go wrong, on a physical level. And that's really what Capricorn's about. Now, also the difference between Capricorn and Cancer, what makes them the exact opposite, is Cancer is about developing like the ability to be movable and to be changeable. And because if you think about the nature of the moon, is just that, right? It's just to constantly adapt. And that's really what Cancer is about, is that really our ability to adapt to our environments, especially, but on an internal sense, because we can carry that wherever we go. Where Capricorn, on the other hand, is about, oh, and see, that's the idea of the crab, right? Is able to change its shell or its structure so it can constantly, or it's able to adapt to whatever structure is around it. Whereas Capricorn is a crocodile. A crocodile represents something that has been in manifestation in the same physical form for millions of years. Crocodiles were around when the dinosaurs were around. So hundreds of millions of years, perhaps, is how long the crocodile's been around. And so it's the idea of being able to deal with things on Earth, but to set ourselves up to deal with the physical things and the things that can go wrong, and to deal with the scary things. But it's about staying the same ourselves, to stay our same physical self, to be able to deal with the multiple things in this world, and to be able to change it with this ever-flowing world, to find security in our form, but so that we can be okay with being receptive to a changeable environment. And marshes represent difficult environments. And then whereas Cancer's many legs, Capricorn is 4 legs. It's like a quadruped in front, and it's 0 legs in the rear, which this gives us the idea that Capricorn starts out with the energy to be able to, and this means the front of the sign and like the first 15 degrees of the sign, and 0 legs in the rear, which this is what gives Capricorn such a complicated sign, because Capricorn represents not only our fears, but it's also our ability to take on burdens and not take it in for ourselves. Because 0 legs in the rear means we're giving over to like a bigger cause, and not being so much of just like, we're just going to keep troopering on. We're keep troopering on for a bigger reason, a bigger cause. It's also, Capricorn is about not only attaining this form, but dealing with the things that can go wrong in our physical environment, and being able to perform the work and to change those things in our physical environment. And so if you have a steady form that doesn't need to change, that's why Capricorn represents one of its qualities, according to Gemini, I believe, is own village, where Gemini talks about Capricorn as distant places, and we see why. So it's like our inner nature being able to be steadfast in that and be able to change, or it's about being able to being steadfast in our ability to adapt to the physical world around us and to develop a form that can handle that. So now let's get a little bit deeper into this. So Now with Cancer, let's look at a Cancer Ascendant. So let's say somebody has Cancer as their first house. Well, this is the typical, a person with a Cancer Ascendant is typically someone who is more open-minded, meaning that they're just open to different ideas, and they don't have to stay with the same idea. What I would say is they're almost a little bit fickle, but it's more like they're adaptable. They're able to change their minds easily when it makes sense, because it's about adapting to their environment. These are the type of people who are generally very caring, you know, generally who are right there and they're present with who they are. They're thinking about other people, because those are the things, because it's about that emotional bond and being, but they're also the people who are more comfortable within themselves. Again, all other factors equal. And so now with a Cancer Ascendant, that puts Capricorn as the descendant, that horizon line. So now with Capricorn as with Cancer as the ascendant, this is the type of person who's more about their emotional nature, of being happy, of just, you know, I'm happy now, and then if they get angry, they're able to let it go. They're able to just like, okay, let's go on, let's move on to the next thing. They're very easy to just adjust to their environment and their surroundings. So now with Capricorn as the 7th house, what this shows is that since Capricorn is the other line of the horizon, which represents the descendant, the setting house, if this is the rising sign, this is the setting sign. So for a Cancer Ascendant, this means that all other factors equal in their chart, their best pattern of growth is going to be that towards moving to Capricorn, which is about dealing more with the material and the physical world and becoming structured so that they can support themselves and others, and thinking more about others, thinking about this village and not just about adapting themselves in their own environment, but starting to think more about what they can physically do, and so they're physically capable of dealing with a changing material world, how they can provide value to their own village. So it's about moving outside of yourself and not thinking about how I can bond and what makes me happy and just riding the wave and the constant stream of emotions. It's more about, no, let's actually start dealing practically, hands-on, because this is an earth sign. Let's start dealing with the world so that we can handle the things that can go wrong. Because instead of just going, oh, that's broken, I'm going to go over here, you know, and oh, I'm going to go over here. It's like, no, let's get our hands dirty so that we can be more valuable and practical in the world. So now let's flip it over to Capricorn. So people with Capricorn as the first house, it's going to be the exact opposite. These are the type of people who are going to be very hands-on, very practical, logical, always thinking about what can go wrong, and finding and always dealing with reality and really dealing with the concrete things in this world. This is kind of their nature, is to be like, how can I be more resourceful? How can I be, so I can provide more material security for people around me? And these are the type of people that'll just work for somebody else because it's going to help them down, and they're going to help those people that have problems, and they're going to be able to, because they're so strong in themselves, that and their ability to deal with this and be perceptive of the things that can go wrong in the world, that they find themselves being able to provide a practical material value in life for other people. It's like, these are the people that are about not how do I feel, but what is in my environment? What is it that I can find to be secure, and what is missing from my environment? And these people can be very caught up in their fears, very caught up in what they don't have and what's not there, so they can constantly try and build themselves a better fort in the physical world in a metaphorical sense. Now, all other factors equal in the chart, with Cancer as the setting sign or the descendant for a Capricorn rising sign or ascendant. So what that means with Cancer, where these people need to grow with, is to just be able to let go and get in the flow of their emotions, and to show more emotional openness to things, and to not worry so much about what can physically go wrong, but to be like, well, yeah, all that stuff is going to change. Physical things are going to go away. Physical things are going to break down. Physical things are going to be a problem. But I need to work on my emotional side of being able to be content with the things that are changing in this world and to be able to still find happiness no matter what happens physically. So that's kind of what we can say, all other factors equal in a chart for a Capricorn ascendant. Now let's throw Rahu and Ketu in the mix. So now let's say that Ketu is in Cancer. That would mean that from a past life perspective, this has been the person that has been more about just dealing with their emotional side and just being able to be very adaptive emotionally and to the things in their life, and being able to change and move along with it and really just kind of get in the flow. These are people who are very more like live in the moment kind of people, and like and what's probably happened is in past lives they've leaned so heavily on Cancer without ever really developing this Capricorn attitude, that every time that they try and just get in the moment in life and how they feel, what's going to happen is Rahu and Capricorn is going to keep pulling them into environments of physical things going wrong, of not being able to find that contentment that comes from being able to find that material perspective, of being able to fix things and deal with problems and make it so that they're able to deal with a changing physical environment. So every time this person tries to just get in the flow with Ketu in Cancer, again, all other factors equal, not talking about the lords of Rahu and Ketu here, but just Ketu and Rahu, not talking about the houses, but just Cancer and Capricorn as the signs. This base energy of Ketu and Cancer is going to be a person who has always relied upon the being in the moment and being able to be like, okay, that angers me now, and then I let it go. And that makes me happy now, and then I let it go. You know, and being able to take that everywhere and thinking that life is about emotional security. But in this lifetime, just finding that emotional security with that constant stream of fluidity of experience, well, that's going to be disappointing. And the more they lean into just trying to be, oh, I'm okay inside, you know, I'm strong internally, the more that they're going to be pulled into Capricorn. They're going to be pulled into Rahu in Capricorn, which is going to be more about, oh, things are breaking down. Oh, how do I fix this physical environment? They're going to find their physical life being problems. They're going to find themselves having to work to fix things more often and seeing this environment that's just falling apart. And they're going to bring, that's going to be put into perspective. And since Rahu represents what they're unfamiliar with, then this person is going to become more this person is going to be experiencing more of problems. This person is going to be a little bit more fearful of things because they're like, wow, okay, yeah, I'm okay now, but what if this happens? And the more that they go, yeah, I'm fine, yeah, I'm just going to stay over here and be in the moment, then all of a sudden other things start falling apart in ways that are just physically that things are falling to physical disrepair because they don't know how to engage in finding this material security of providing in the world and providing to their own village, because they're going to be forced, other people are going to start asking them, how do you fix my problems? And that's one of the ways that with Ketu and Cancer, Rahu and Capricorn. Now let's flip it over with Ketu and Capricorn. These are the opposite. These are people who, coming into this lifetime from their past lifetimes, has developed a tendency to be more about what can go wrong in this world, okay? Because I have to have a stable environment around me. You know, I have to be able to feel like this is stable. And these are people who are very good, very qualified, and very experienced, and with a lot of ease are able to make things, to take care of their own village, to deal with the troubling things in their physical environment, and to be okay with that because they've developed a strong sense of like security in the world, of how they can find themselves secure inside internally because of, and dealing with that physical environment, because they like have those skills, they have that practical, logical mind of being able to deal with problems, fixing this and that. And the more now with Ketu and Capricorn, the more that these people lean on that of, let me just fix this. Well, what can go wrong here, you know, and how can I provide this this better concrete structure of security and material security in reality, the more that they're going to be put into emotional turmoil or confused about their emotional nature of how to handle things. Because Capricorn people tend to be ones that, because they're developing this internal material security, these are people that have a harder time letting things go. And so these are people with Rahu and Cancer. There's going to be lack of karmic experience, which results in confusion, which results in illusion, and of about how to deal with their emotional, about being secure as an emotional being in an emotionally changing environment. So the more that they lean on, like, yeah, I'm fixing this and making this secure, and the more that they lean on just trying to make a concrete physical reality, the more that they find that they're not happy inside, and they don't know how to be happy. How do I deal with these emotions? And so this sign, this right here, Cancer and Capricorn, this can lead to a lot of depression with especially with Rahu and Cancer, because it's like it becomes this whole crazy internal environment of, wait, I don't know, I have this physical form that feels good, and I'm always trying to fix that, you know, and I have a good physical reality, I'm working, I'm helping other people, but there's a lack, I don't know, there's an uncertainty within myself of how I deal with life. And so that's one of the ways, all factors equal, we can see Ketu and Capricorn with Rahu and Cancer is starting to get more karmic experience with our actual emotional nature, so we can take ourselves anywhere. We don't just have to develop being comfortable in our own village, finding a piece of earth to deal with. And the more that they lean on finding their own little plot of land and working with all the problems there and finding happiness there, or just more security there in that physical changing environment, and how to deal with the things that go wrong, the more that they're going to realize that they're just not happy inside, regardless of all this. And so they're going to have to, this lifetime, they're here to experience what it's like to be in this emotional nature. So now, if you've taken the time to watch it this far, I thank you very much. And please subscribe to my channel below if you like the quality of the material that you've seen here. And check out my website, Dance of the Cosmos, if you would like to request a reading. I thank you very much, and namaste.